pleasant good morning, one and all. Welcome to the Wednesday's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Welcome. Hope you had a good night's rest and that you are prepared for the learning that will take place here today. Welcome, one and all. Today, Wednesday, the 23rd day of October. I gotta make sure I get it right. The 23rd day of October 2024. A wonderful day, bright and sunny where I am. So yes, welcome, one and all. My colleague, Mr. Conway, is ready to go. We are going to get to it in a short while. We have so much to tell you. As is customary now, every day we come, we have so much to tell you. We have so much information to share. We have so much teaching to do. So here we are again, today, Wednesday, the midweek program. And we are ready. We have done the research. We have been following the news, and we're going to break things down for you. And as I've said, a wonderful day, another day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. It is a privilege to have seen this new day. And I hope you continue to do well and that sit back and listen to some of the revelations and some of the teaching. I know what we do. I say we dissect these statements that they make, put them in proper perspective. So here we are again today. Share the live. I tell you, share. And again, hit the thumbs up. We have what? We have over almost 500 at this time in this school, in this class, and only 20 thumbs up. No. You got to do better than. You have to do better than that. The program was scheduled just before 7 this morning, and immediately students rushed into the schoolyard. And when we went live, as I've said, we have almost 500, and I'm sure you're gonna go far above that because some people wait until the roll call is finished and all that. But hit the notification button, right? Give us a thumbs up and let people know that we are on this Wednesday with all sorts of breaking news, and we are going to bring it to you. The usual format. I'm going to try to fly through the roll call. Then we're going to go into the notifications, and then we're going to go straight into some of these subjects that we talk about. When I announced the program yesterday, I said we're going to deal with the crisis in the Guyana Police Force, especially in the senior management. And we're going to address it in great detail today. So tell a friend, share. Each person should share like about 5. If all of you share about 5, we're going to go well into some the stratosphere with the figures. Yeah, that's true. The schoolyard was packed to capacity this morning. Packed to capacity. It's the most students we have had in the schoolyard. Congratulations to you all. Roll call, we're going to fly through it. First man in this morning, he came with others. Sean was here along with Tessa, along with Lynette from the UK, and they came at 6:55. You also had Sydney at the same time, Floyd at the same time, and shortly after you had Carl, then Trotty, Winston from California, Wayne from the UK, Vibert from Brooklyn, or from the US rather, New York. Then it was Dexter, followed by Mary, followed Ulrich from West Delaware, Carlton, my squad mate, Peter, Reggie, welcome Reggie. Then you have John, Marcus, Joan, Raul is here, Bert, Magnell, Keith. Then it was Pauline, Felicia, Barlet, the man from the hills is here. Brian, Rhonda, Courtney, Aubrey, welcome Aubrey, and happy birthday to you, my brother. I remember it, I have it noted here. Happy birthday today. Aubrey, the student, is celebrating his natal day, and happy birthday to you. Anthony is here, Marcus, Evelyn, African Queen, Barbara, Akko, Puran from Essequibo Coast, Kenneth, Gaston, my squad mate from Canada, Wayne, Desiree, and Desiree from Georgia. Then it was Anthony, Dennis from Barbados, Lennox, Winston from the UK, Diane, Gibbo, the original black man is here, Carlisle, Jacko from Georgia, Patricia from New Jersey, Gary, Derek, Orin from the UK, Bonita, Malvok, Clifton from Paris, Maureen, Clarence, David, Fergus, Lucius from Maryland, Pamela from West Demerara, Clive from the UK, Simona, Francis Kidd from Melanie. Then we had Gavin from Maryland, Colin from Queens, Charlene is here, Cecile, Sharon from the UK, Marva, Marcia, Dav, Aileen is here. Everett from Texas. Sandra. Then it was Kevin, Richard, Enric, Forbes, Dorette is here with us. Russ, Ricardo, Siobhan, William is here. Malcolm, the Conor Rookman is here. Russ, Heather is with us. Michael, Denise from Florida. Izzy, V. John, Walterine, Queenie from Brooklyn, Michael, Roxanne, Onika, Orin is here. Randolph, Melissa, Kay, Brenda, Hazel, and then it is Emerson, George from BV, Morton, then Philip or Phil, Rayburn, Vibert, White is here, the man from the East Bank. Then we have Diane, Earl, Terence, and Terence is from Canada, 9795. Connolly, Neville, Raul, my red man friend is here. Vibert, those Smithy. Smithy, when you see these things going on in the police force, you must be grieving, my brother. I know all of us are. Annette, Carville, Siobhan, the Angel, E2 grieving, all good, very excellent, brilliant detectives they all were. Sherman, Harold, Kurt, Isabella, Rohan Jawar is here. Then we have Maury, Tilula, Princess Earl from Lamar Springs, Patricia, Aubrey, this is Aubrey Graves, Andy Sherwin, Grantley, another Saul is in the house, Monica, Terrence King, TK from California. Then we have Shalon, Howard, Rastaman, Danny, another old good detective that is grieving, Grace, Randolph, Roland, Carl, my squad mate from Arizona. Then it was Sagi, welcome Sagi. Vibert from the East Bank, Abera, Ulrich, my squad mate from Barbados, 9555. Simo is here with us. Glendon, the two squad, look how things look how things go. Simo is there. He came in at 8. His number was 0539, and immediately after him, they came together. His squad mate 0540, 39 and 40. Amanda, Marcus, Sheena, and then you have Hazel, George, Rhonda, that I'm still in the house. Joseph, Denise, the secretary is here. Patricia, Karen, Michael, and this is Michael Cornett. Inforno Boss, Delanio, Stephen, Gary, Doreen is here. Ainsworth, Demar K, we used to call him K. And look at this one who came in here. This is a new student. I don't know if you come to learn or if you just come to make mischief. He's saying that you must stop criticizing, crop you inside your tail, which you left behind. This has been happening forever. I know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about has been happening forever. But look now, says something has been happening. We left behind our tail. So I don't know what he's really talking about. Then we have Umi. Then after Umi, it was Jean, Melville, Dwayne, Monica, Everett, Lorraine, and this is Lorraine, Earl, Sandrine Baird, Matthew, Sherwin, Allison, Ashley, Trevor, see some new names. Roy, the man from upstate New York. Norbert, Keith from Barbados is here. Ovid, Mr. G. June, Diane, Gloria, Callan. My lawyer is here, Selwyn, and he said that, well, good morning, Paul and CC. Change that, Mr. Sloan, Mr. Conway. Men on a mission. Yes, we are on a mission to expose the truth. We are on a mission, as the Michael Young had said, to speak the truth and shame the devil. So yes, Selwyn, we are on a mission to speak the truth and to let the chips fall where they may. That's the mission we're on. Cedric is here. Vernon, Kerry says he's still in Guyana. Kerry, you're doing yourself. Audrey is here. Chilo, Devian, Colin, Old Police 6984, R. Crawford, Audrey is here. Cranston, John Fraser, my friend, Orville. And look at this person, XX 10933. I know, I remember, I can't call your name because I didn't put your name, but I remember you very well, my friend. I remember you very well from the TSU. Simona is here. Simoa is here. Carol, Lennox, Linden, the man Bread. We used to call him Bread, corn bread. Lorraine, after Lorraine was Colin, Samuel, Elton, Donna, and this is Donna Brandt, Glendis. Then this is Barbara Edwards, Sabrina, David, Nigel, Tony, Neville is here. Eva, Pito is here with us. Then we have, after Pito is Delan, Rennie, Ulana, Northwest, and those are the people in the schoolyard. Over 200, I call, almost 300 posts there. And then when we went live, Karen was the first on Facebook, followed by Edward. He always in the top. Stian is here. Commissioner Cole is here as well. Patrick, Brenda, and Joan, and the list goes on and on and on. Now, we can't keep calling roll call. We have called, and then we're going to move on to some of the things. Now for the announcements. We start when we have these sad announcements, we start with them first. And some time ago, last week it was, we told you of the death of Mr. Clinton Williams, who was formerly of the GNIC, then he was president of the Ghana Manufacturing and Service Association, and the former chairman of the Board of Industrial Training. The word is that his funeral will take place on Friday, the 25th of October. This is Friday coming, and the viewing will be at the Merriman's Funeral Home from 10 a.m. And then we told you too about the death of one of our students, Debbie. And as a mark of respect to Debbie, a student of this program, I think we should observe a moment silence. So we're going to start now observing a moment silence for Debbie, who passed away recently. Thank you very much, students. We go on, and I wish to, it's with deep regret that we also announced the death of retired Superintendent Alfred Paul. Alfred Paul, he used to be years ago at the CID headquarters, I think, with the photographic branch. He worked with me in A Division and was a commander there. And then in Borbis too, when I was the commander, we learned that Alfred passed away on Monday on the quarantine. And the information we received this morning is that his funeral will take place next Wednesday, the 30th, on Firish quarantine. And then we also learned of the death of former member Clyde Williams. They used to call him Big Four. I remember Clyde used to be at the TSU some time when I was there. The regulation number was 9331. I think he passed away in Canada, and they're telling us that he'll have funeral service in Canada tomorrow, the 24th tomorrow in Canada. And then he is going to be taken to Guyana for funeral service on October the 30th at Arundel Congregational Church, 129 Middlewalk, Buxton, from 2 p.m. So condolences to all the relatives of those persons who have passed. And as we say, may they rest in peace and rise in glory. Birthday wishes. We have birthday wishes today. We have two today. Today we have the birthday, as I said earlier, of a person who's on here now, Aubrey Pantlis, 9053. 9053 was his number, and he's telling us that he's celebrating his 70th 10 today. Congratulations to you, my brother. Also celebrating a birthday or about anniversary today is Nicholas Safrain, retired officer Nicholas Safrain, who was there at the photographic branch, was the leading photographer in the police force. And Nicholas is celebrating his birthday. I think he said he's celebrating his 76th birthday. Congratulations to you guys. And we have belated birthday greetings to a student, Aileen. Aileen, the female umpire, she celebrated recently, and also celebrating recently as retired member, I think he was an ASP or I can't remember, Thomas Noble. His number was 0650. He used to be, I think, at CID headquarters there at the bomb squad or somewhere there used to be. Aileen celebrated recently. Congratulations to you folks. And I want to, before I bring in Mr. Conway, I want to say congratulations to Police Sergeant Lambert, 14174 Lambert. We got word that he proceeded on pre-retirement leave recently. One of those rare breeds now that's serving until they get to retirement. And when you get there, I guess people smile and celebrate. A big sigh that you're out of the nonsense. So congratulations to Sergeant Lambert, 14174. I think at the time of retirement, he was stationed on the Essequibo Coast. I'm not sure. But he has proceeded on pre-retirement leave. Congratulations to him. Now let me bring in Mr. Conway. PC.
Good morning.
Hope you have a good night.
Yeah, excellent night. Happy to be in the land of the living to do God's work. Congratulations to Nicholas Safrain and also to Lambert. I remember I recruited him as an apprentice he was an apprentice, and then he later on, graduated to become a constable, and he was very dear to me. And he still owe me a couple of drinks and some other things. Maybe when I see him, I will collect now that he's a civilian. So Lambert, happy retirement.
All right. One of the first thing before we go into the main issue, I noted, and we both noted, and some of you may have noted recently, we reported it some time ago that this man known as Guyanese Critic was charged for inflicting grievous bodily harm, some charge like that. But I read the article yesterday in the Stabrook News, and let me read quickly. It's a very short article. It says, critic alleged combatant charge, granted bail over kitty fight. The two men were yesterday placed on a total of $175,000 bail when they appeared before magistrate at the Georgetown Magistrate Court, charged with unlawful wounding with intent to cause grievous bodily harm. Brian Prasad, an electrician of Barbies, and Mikhail Rodriguez, also known as Guyanese Critic, reportedly wounded each other during an altercation outside a Montreal restaurant and lounge at Lamar and Pike Street, Kitty, on September the 30th, 2024. Both Prasad and Rodriguez pleaded not guilty to the charges. Prasad was $75,000, while Rodriguez was placed on $100,000 bail. Prasad was represented. Well, I'm not going to go into that. Now, I was surprised because based on what we saw and based on what we heard, it would appear they're saying Critic, and this man was in there. Critic claimed that somebody lashed him in his head with some bottle or something, and the man is saying that he had nothing to do with it. He went to the washroom. He was there with his friends. Went to the washroom. Finally, when he's coming back from the washroom, he claims that Critic saw him, and maybe Critics felt that he was the one who assaulted him and gave him a terrible, terrible beating. Beat him up, wounded him. We saw that the man chained in Critic hand. Critic got a gun. They say use a gun to beat this man. We saw the video. You don't have time to show it here this morning. I have it here. Saw the video with him when the police intervened, and Critic still has this gun and blood all over the place. And the police asked him for the gun, and he refused to hand over. I was surprised. But then, on reflection, I said, look, I should not have been surprised because that is how the system works. Charge both of them, and chances are you're going to try to get the one man who appears. I remember, I'm not sure of all the facts, but based on what was revealed, it would appear what they were saying, that this man was a wrong man. Somebody did, in fact, lash Critic, but it would appear based on the claim of this person, others who were there, this man was not the perpetrator, but the chargee. And I am of the view that that is deliberate, so that the man can say, well, I want no further action, and Critic can say, you want no further action, and look out, the matter is going to disappear. That is what is going to happen. The matter is going to disappear. But let me say this, that even if at some stage the Prasad says that he does not want to proceed with the matter any further, and Critic does likewise, that doesn't mean that the police should not continue the process to cause Critic to show reasons why the firearm should not be, the license to the firearm issued to him should not be revoked. That should be a standard thing, because he has shown intemperate habits. Man, that guy in the place fighting with gun, and only not in this night, other incidents and so on, causing up on TV and so on. But let me watch to see what will become of that matter. As I've said, I was surprised, but I should not have been, because I know that is when you hear the long delay in a matter like this, because in a matter like this, you investigate, you get medical certificate, and you go ahead with charge. But from the time you see that delay, this incident occurred on the 30th of September, and there was no reason why within a week or 2 weeks the most, charges could not have been laid. But that is how it has been played. See, let me hear your views on this one, man.
Well, in the first instance, I don't think that matter should have gone to the DPP. And then again, you charge both parties. So here again, I wouldn't be surprised here that they don't give evidence against one another. But as you mentioned, the firearm, and I said before several times, how in heaven's name Critic get a firearm? His behavior on the television program, his behavior otherwise, it is. His demeanor. I don't see how Critic could get a firearm, and this is a clear case. Even he got it on suspicious circumstances, there's a clear case for the commander to write him and for him to show a reason why it shouldn't be revoked. Critics should never ever get any firearm based on his present temperament.
You know, a lot of people get gun now walking around the place, and then if you look, people with criminal record get firearm. And you know, the allegation is that Jackie Opel has to visit. You got to pay before you get firearm. That is the allegation. Are we going to deal with some of those allegations against members in the police force a little later? But the next matter that I saw yesterday, again, I was not surprised. Some time ago, we reported to you, it was around mid-August, where they had this report. I'm going to read it to you quickly, and then we're going to talk about it. The headline was, businessman arrested after discovery of millions of foreign and local currency and an illegal AK-47 rifle and ammunition. This is dated August the 12th. In a dramatic police raid, 42-year-old businessman, they get the name, I'm not going to call his name, of Orstelling Isbang Demerara, was arrested after the discovery of a substantial amount of currency, both foreign and local, an illegal AK-47 assault rifle and matching rounds of ammunition at his residence on Sunday. Police headquarters said that the intelligence-led operation was conducted by an assistant superintendent and a team of policemen from Providence Police Station at approximately 18:25 hours. Officers searched the man's home at Lot 2, Somerset Housing Scheme, or Sterling Isbang Demerara. Police said the man was informed that they were there to search for arms, ammunition, and drugs, and he consented to the search. The search revealed a significant stash of currency hidden in a brown suitcase in a room in the house, and then they detailed the type of currencies. In addition to the money, police found the AK-47 wrapped in a brown towel inside a washing machine on the lower flat of the property, along with 29 live matching rounds in a magazine and 30 live matching rounds hidden in a black and white socks. Additionally, 6 9mm rounds of ammunition were found in a bedroom on the upper flat. The man who did not hold a firearm license and remained silent when cautioned about the possession of the legal weapon was arrested and taken into custody. Further investigations are ongoing. That is what I said. We commented on it, and we said there then that if you have an intelligence-led operation, why did you not have a search warrant? They claim that they went there to search, and according to them, the man consented to the search. And we commented on it. A man get AK-47, illegal AK-47 or whatever else, and he can tell you, come and search, man, come and search. Something was wrong. First, you didn't get a warrant. You get intelligence that this man get illegal stuff, not necessarily a gun, but he has illegal stuff. One would have expected that the correct thing to do was to go and get a search warrant. They did not get that, but then they're telling us that the man consented, right? Let me read the part. Police said he was informed that they were there to search for arms, ammunition, and drugs, and he consented to the search. That is what it said. So you're going to search, you tell you, look, I come to search for arms, ammunition, and drugs. You don't get a warrant. And you say, all right, come in. He consented. Yeah, man, you can come and search. And then you find an AK-47. But lo and behold, yesterday, it has been reported yesterday, court dismisses Orstelling man's illegal gun charge after prosecutor fails to produce file. And the article says, this is produced yesterday, after the prosecution repeatedly failed to produce a case file on the charges against the businessman allegedly held with the AK-47 and ammunition, the magistrate sitting at the Diamond Magistrates Court yesterday dismissed the charges. The man's attorney said. The lawyer said the magistrate freed the businessman following an application for dismissal based on the prosecution's continuous demonstration of lack of preparedness. The man was charged in August and placed on $700,000 bail, the lawyer said. And despite repeated warnings by the magistrate, the prosecution failed to make disclosure of statements and relevant evidence. Yesterday was set for a peremptory hearing, but again, there was no file, and the magistrate gave the prosecution up to 1:30 to produce it. But when that time came, the file was still not produced. The case was then dismissed. That is what happened. So since this matter, as I said, the man was, this is in August, 2 months down the road, no file. The magistrate gave them a peremptory date. And let me tell you what that means, Mr. Conway, and I can explain that to you. It simply means that the magistrate will say, come with your things, come with all your files and so on this date, or I'm going to dismiss. So they were forewarned. Because once it's peremptory, it means that if you're ready to proceed, the matter is going to be dismissed. Let me tell you what happens, what should happen. Now, when, all of us are, well, many of us were commanders. And in my case in Georgetown, the court superintendent will report on these things, especially if there's a peremptory date set. Because you, the commander, will get involved and to make sure that if it's a file coming from CID, the file that the DPP, somewhere it is now urgent and you have to make sure that that file is available. You have to make sure that the file is available. If the file, most times once you do that, the file is going to be available. I can't recall any instance under my command where a peremptory date is set and they come to tell me that I can't find file. I can't recall. It may have happened, but I can't recall. So a peremptory date is set. And yet still yesterday, when they turn up, or whenever they turn up there, file in there, magistrate went so far as to say, well, put it down for 130. So what happened there? What happened with this file, this big noise that the police make about finding this man with a whole set of money, local and foreign currency, and we have questioned why you seize the foreign currency, right? Because I don't know if it's illegal, but they seized they found the firearm, an AK-47 fine. We questioned since then the manner in which this matter was handled. And then, of course, you might hear that Jackie Opel was there. Somebody file disappear. That is a type of thing that is destroying the image of the Ghana police. We're going to talk about the 800 million and all that. But incidents like these two, how can that preemptive trial set, and this is Providence on the East Bank, 4B, the thing they call it now. And this is not the only case. Not the only case. We reported on a case where a businessman was found with an illegal firearm. This is since March. He put it in some lady bag. March of this year. And up to now, you ain't hearing nothing about it. I know when I did the research, the file was sent back to the police for further investigation sometime in April. The man was held in March, the file sent back April. This is October, and you're not hearing anything more about it. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. See, you would have, we did comment on this matter. What are your comments now that the matter has been dismissed?
As long as peremptory, they mean to say that the matter gotta go on. And then they don't know case management. The prosecutor don't report to the subdivision officer, and the subdivision officer don't report to the commando. And I know as commando, certain cases we used to get them at our desktop there. Certain important cases, serious matters, you have to get a steady update on them. That's how you manage the court procedure. That important matters, the commander has got to be aware, and the information got to flow from the prosecutor, maybe the subdivision officer and the commander, but maybe everybody just throw back, with him. But well, here is it: a man with an AK-47, they said they find, based on intelligence report, gone scot-free. And then possession of U.S. currency is no offense, it's no criminal offense. So I know why they seize people. You find a man with some U.S. and you seize it, unless it's the proceeds of some crime, as the case may be.
We go to one of the things that we announced. I have some matters, but I don't want to lose a minute in dealing with this saga, this Brutus saga. We want to deal with the Brutus saga, and I'm going to start now. No, before we go on, let me say with this matter, with this gun, what should happen? A thorough investigation should be launched. A thorough investigation. Normally, they will throw it to the OPR, overboarding them, investigate why this matter was dismissed. This is a serious matter. A man in possession of an AK-47 assault rifle, right, charged, and file can be presented in court for disclosure on all these type of things. A thorough investigation must be done. Who are the culprits? Because given what is going on, reasonable people will conclude that jiggery-pogery, as we'd say in Guyana, took place. Maybe someone was paid to cause this file to disappear. We need to know. We need to know. Because once you get gun matter and drug matter, as Mr. Conway rightly pointed out, the commander got to get involved to monitor these things carefully. You got to get involved as a commander to know when these matters are coming up. They got to brief you as to what stage they are, who are the witnesses to turn up. Have all the witnesses been warned? All of these things the commanders have to do. But you have them now, they call themselves commanders, but many of them are commandos. They're not commanders. They don't have a clue what is going on. And many times, as I've said, they're not the ones to be blamed. They are not trained. They are pitchforked into these positions without the requisite training, and these things are then likely to happen. They don't have the police sense to know what is going on. So this is clearly either criminal neglect or other neglect on the part of one or more persons. And it ought to be investigated, and people ought to be made accountable. Now let me as I've said, move on. Let me ask Mr. Conway if you want to comment on what should happen. CC?
Yeah, you already mentioned, that a proper investigation has got to be done to see who is responsible. And if you find person, well, you got to find person who are responsible for the file not being available, and take the necessary corrective action. But I'm making the point again, is where command and control, where the commander's got to be free of all the serious matters before the court, all the serious matters, the sensitive matters, the matters if they're dismissed we call public outcry. The commander has got to be aware of those things.
You have to be aware, commanders, of all those matters. When I was a commander there, especially in the division, you get what we call prisoner state. I got to be aware of all the prisoners who are in the lockup. What are they there for? I got to get a daily report on that. And many times when I get the time, I pass through the lockup to talk to the prisoner. What are you? Well, you can't ask the prisoner what he did. If you ask a prisoner, especially the seasoned prisoner, what you did, he never did anything. So my thing you should ask you, what them say you do by? What did they say that you do? And then he's going to open up and tell you, well, they say I do so, and I did not. And then when you check the time when he came in, very important, because you have this 72 hours requirement for the person to be charged or put on bail within 72 hours. And as a place like Brickdam, many of the prisoners who are there are not Brickdam prisoners per se, but CID headquarters and other places. In those days, they will bring E&F division, they bring prisoners there. And if you don't monitor it carefully, you, the commander, can get trouble. You can get trouble because they are in your custody, and you have a responsibility to make sure that the law is followed. So I used to do that prisoner state. What is this man here for? And if they say is a CID prisoner, I used to get even more diligent, because some of them are the way. They bring a man, they book him for RUA. In case you don't know what is RUA, robbery under arms. Or they book him for pending investigation into murder, because they know that no sergeant or no weak officer is going to send a man who is there for robbery under arms or pending investigation into murder on bail. So you have to give more details. Robbery under arms committed when and on whom. All of these things you have to do. Murder, which in murder investigation is that? All of these things that the commanders have to be aware of, the subdivisional commanders too have to be aware. It's a pity because these things that we're talking here now back in the day, when I lectured to officers at the college and so on what you should do, environments of command and so on, imperatives of command rather. I should do a presentation to tell them all of this. These things are imperative for a commander to deal with, right? Aubrey, you got to know the aliases and so on. Current people just come with all sorts of names. Today the name Django, tomorrow the name something else, and you got to know what is your, not only what your name, what you're known as. And then a place like Georgetown, you get the seasoned policemen, the McCulloch and those boys back in the day will tell you, hey, no, that is not his name, that is a wrong name. And we have set the policemen many times when they tell you about the name, and especially when it's question of bail, you have got to be able to verify the name and address. Now, man, come and tell you, say, look, this is my name, and you accept that. This is my address. You accept that. No, it has to be verified. It has to be verified. Yeah, Rohan, that's why you said don't ask a prisoner what you did, because he never did anything. Those old ones, he never did anything. You have to ask him, by what they say you do. what they say you do. And once you ask them that, then they are more open to telling you what it is alleged that they did. Let's move on to this Brutus matter, man. It's on front page, front burner, all the time. Brutus matter. Brutus, for those of you who don't know, just in case, the teaching thing in us, we can't assume that all the students here get a background or they know the antecedents to this matter. So briefly, Brutus, Assistant Commissioner of Police in the Guyana Police Force, was in charge of admin. And then a little while ago, there was a sudden movement. Allegations were made of improper financial arrangements and so on. And of course, the police deny and they do all sort of things. Right? And then what happened? Then all of a sudden, they had a change at the top there. Brutus, who was at admin, was sent to special branch. The man at special branch, Watts, was sent to operations. And the man at operations, Budram, was sent to admin. And the police said that there is a routine change just to give them experience and all of that. But we were talking on this program about this $16.5 million that was deposited in the credit union and returned and all the repercussions thereafter. We kept talking about it. Nothing. Then all of a sudden, we learned a few weeks ago, Kaichor used an article that the police said that the investigation into allegation against Brutus turned up, nothing turned up. It was discontinued. And shortly thereafter, we heard that there was a second investigation into financial impropriety and all of that. And then what happened? Brutus moved to the court for permission to leave the country. And last Friday, the matter came up before Justice Gino Prasad, and the state objected to him being granted permission to leave. And in the affidavit that they filed objecting to him leaving, they revealed that 240 cases are pending, 240 cases related to financial impropriety or fraud, whatever they said, were pending against this senior officer. And therefore, on that grounds, on other grounds, they asked for bail to be refused and after him to be denied permission to leave, and he was denied permission to leave the country. He also filed a constitutional motion against a lot of people. He named the whole set of people constitutional motion because he's saying that cabinet interfered with this thing and instructed the acting commissioner, the man before us, the extended quarter, to send him on leave, and that is on ultra-virus. He said that his removal from the post of admin was also ultra-virus due to improper procedure. He asked for a lot of declaration. Right? He said the police service commission acted inappropriately. The PS Home Affairs, all set of people, the acting commissioner, all them in him. The man filed a lawsuit and sought declaration against all these people. As I've said, when they file the affidavit to oppose, they make all type of thing, including stating that 240 charges are pending against him, and on that basis, he should not be allowed to leave, and the judge agreed. Then, the day before, that was the Thursday, the vice president, last week Thursday, at his regular, there was Scarlet press conference, I don't see it as a press conference, made some statement. Let me tell you all, again, I'm bringing you all up to date, because I'm assuming that everybody up to date with what's going on. So those of you who have been following and are aware, bear with us while the other students thing is. So let me play this tape, and then we're gonna go into it on the other side.
Cordell Jones from Livewire News. There's been a lot of public consternation over large bank deposits being made by a senior police officer, with reports that another senior officer justified this in an affidavit. Is the government concerned about these developments?
So let me make it clear that there is no attempt to discriminate against anyone. I've seen recently a slew of social media people who are linked to the opposition, particularly the extreme ones, attempting to portray this issue as a race issue. But that's predictable. Let me make it clear what our policies are. We support the police force. We support the leadership of the police force. We support them to do their work, but they must comply with the laws of this country. The PPP will not tolerate corruption in the police force or anywhere else. And when we find corruption in the police force or anywhere else, there will be no attempt to cover it up. So if you believe that you have a special relationship with the government and that we will, pursuant to that relationship, cover up your misdeeds, you have it wrong. You don't know the PPP. When this matter surfaced, the opposition was saying that these individuals, or this particular individual, was linked to the government of Guyana. And they did not trust that there will be an impartial investigation. The AFC and the PNC called for external body to investigate because they believe that there will be a cover-up. We made it clear at that time that the investigations would be professional and there would be no interference from the executive to steer the investigation either way, and that the chips may fall where they may. I said those words. In the investigations, the impartial investigation, done by an arm of the police force, there is a recommendation that went to the DPP to lay multiple charges against the individual for breaches of the law. I see the particular individual now filing a constitutional motion claiming that somehow the executive, the same executive, that the PPP or the executive, is influencing the course of the investigation. APNU was saying something different. They were saying, we will help this individual. We'll cover up what he was doing. He is now saying we are influencing it to lay charges against him. We have no interest whatsoever in that. But if you did illegal things, you will face the consequences. And from all that I've read, that a lot of wrong things took place. A lot of illegalities took place. And so we will respond to the constitutional motion in court. And since some charges were made, trust me, our affidavit to respond to those charges may not be beneficial to the particular individual, because we will go into great details about what our findings were in the procurement system. And so when he was heading the administration of the police force. So further, I don't want to say anything on the matter. And let me also make it clear here today that this government never sanctioned a policy where private individuals and businessmen could pay for the birthdays and weddings of policemen or other public officials. In fact, we think it's reprehensible. it's reprehensible. So that's all I'm going to say for today.
It's reprehensible. That is what they advise. So you get an idea for those newcomers as to where we are in this matter. Up to now, according to the report, the file in this matter was sent to the Director of Public Prosecutions Chambers on the 1st of this month for advice on the way forward. And according to them, this is 23 days later, more than 3 weeks later. We are not aware if any advice has been given. Again, I am not surprised. I'm not surprised. The DPP gives advice, can be very with alacrity in certain cases. One will recall the Diamond case. The file went to the DPP, and it was reported that within 24 hours, the DPP said, there's no evidence that the young lady said it was in her best interest not to proceed with the matter. Within 24 hours, this one with Brutus is there for over 3 weeks. Let me agree that if you are dealing with 240 possible charges, it's going to take some time. But 3 weeks? 3 weeks? I know of cases, at least one particular case, where file went to DPP for advice, minus certain crucial statements. And advice was given for the individual to be charged, and then they go in afterward to get statement from people. So what is taking so long? I know of cases where people are charged. I can bear testimony to that. No allegation put to them. They were never told, as is required by the Constitution, that they are being investigated or charged for a particular offense and the charge. But in this Brutus case, this thing is taking an inordinately long time. Because let me say further, if you are looking at 240, you don't have to compute out 240 to give advice to charge. You do some, and once you find the evidence on 1 or 2 or 3, you can say proceed with these, and then you continue investigation, and you continue. We have had cases like that before, where people are charged, especially when it relates to fraud and that type of thing. They get 10, 12 charges read to them, and then they come back and read the others to them and so on. But for some reason, this one is taking an inordinately long time, and it has to be worrying to all law-abiding and right-thinking Guyanese. Now, following a lot of things that came out of this thing, because now a lot of documents are being released. Last night, for example, the Attorney General on his regular Tuesday program on Issues on the News on NCN, at the National Communication Network, he said, let me tell you, Brutus to be relieved of position once charged. That is what the AG is alleged to have said last night. The Brutus is to be relieved of his position. So here, let me read it for you, and then we're going to analyze this. Embattled Assistant Commissioner Calvin Brutus, he suddenly turned Assistant Commissioner. All the time they're referring to it, the very people referring to him as Acting Deputy Commissioner, and we made the point repeatedly on this program. There's no Acting Deputy Commissioner. He was there as an Assistant Commissioner. In the first instance, he was there as a Senior Superintendent, performing the functions of Deputy Commissioner Administration. That does not make him an Acting Deputy Commissioner. But suddenly realized this. So now they're saying embattled Assistant Police Commissioner Calvin Brutus will make history as the highest ranked officer to be implicated in a high volume of fraud, according to Attorney General Anil Nandlal. During his weekly program, Issues in the News, he noted that the cop will be relieved of his position once charged. Then, quote, Brutus will go down in history as perhaps the highest ranked officer of the Guyana police force to be implicated in this volume of fraud. I believe that he will go down in the Caribbean as an officer of such rank to be implicated in this level of criminality, he said on Tuesday evening. Again, Brutus is supposed to enjoy the presumption of innocence. But then here it is that the Attorney General is saying that in the Caribbean, he will go down in the Caribbean as the officer of such rank implicated in this level of criminality. So they're even using little finesse to say, well, alleged and all this type of thing. Anyhow, I don't mind. He said on Tuesday night, the AG added, obviously, when the charges are instituted, and quote, obviously, when the charges are instituted, steps will have to be taken by the relevant agencies and in compliance with the relevant legal processes to remove Brutus from office. End of quote. The assistant commissioner is facing 240 charges relating to financial crimes. Investigations into the police officer's finances is linked to the Guyana Police Force Credit Union. Reports are that the probe started in July and then widened after it was discovered that the senior cop had some 40 million in his bank account, and those of close relatives, they say 40 million, yeah? We know the documents are 400 million. The impending probe was conducted by SOKU, and the file was sent to the DPP for advice. Nandalal said the completion of the investigation contradicts comments by the opposition that Brutus will be sheltered and the probe will be dropped. Quote, now they have seen the gravity of the situation and the amount of monies implicated and the number of charges, and the government did no such covering up. They still are critical of the government. I don't know what else they expect or what else they want from the government. End of quote. The AG said. Recently, Brutus filed an application in the High Court where he claimed victimization, among other things. The respondents are SOKU, the government, the Commissioner of Police, and others. The court later blocked him from traveling with his wife for medical attention overseas. Other actions taken since the investigation commenced, including the freezing of bank accounts held in Brutus's name, along with those companies and businesses owned by his wife. According to AG, this was done in accordance with the Anti-Money Countering Financial Terrorism Act. He noted that these accounts contain large sums of money, but dispelled rumors that the Assistant Commissioner is unable to take care of his financial obligations without access to the accounts. In fact, the AG pointed out that the bank accounts used to receive monthly salaries is acceptable. He said a bank account used to receive monthly salaries is acceptable. Quote, strangely, up to recently, based on the court proceedings, that account had dozens of millions of dollars. Years of salaries were not withdrawn. End of quote, Nandalal said. SOKU is awaiting a response from the DPP to process charge. Now, let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then I will come back to deal with that. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. Mr. Conway, you heard what the AG is alleged to have said last night about the way forward, and Brutus is to be relieved of what you said. Let me quote it back here. Brutus to be relieved of position and so on. But what are your views, my brother? Go ahead.
Well, you used the term before, it's a dog whistle. We had a dog whistle by the second vice president. But here it is. They're saying 240 charges. They're investigating 240 charges. And you don't have to bring all before the court at the same time. I mentioned a couple of days ago it might have been a logistical nightmare. Pick out some and say, hey, where you have all the elements of the charge here, where you have all the elements of the charge established, and proceed with them. I know of many instances where the DPP say you don't have all the elements, but they say proceed with charge against this, but collect for a statement from this body and report by so and so time. So they give you the permission, and you collect the statement and send back the file as a controlling measures to see whether or not you comply with the instructions. But there's it. They get the amount of charges, and you don't have to get all one time. And as Vibert Smith, they used to say, give the man a hold in charge whilst you investigate the rest. But make sure in the hold in charge, you have all the elements of the crime there, and you cover all the elements. And then there's where you got to do. And I can't see after more than 3 weeks, you still ain't get the advice to at least proceed with one. Something is wrong somewhere there, and then you already get a dog whistle from the Attorney General and the second Vice President, and we know that that the DPP, the office of the DPP, is politically inclined. So what are they waiting for?
What are they waiting for? Well, I see a comment from one of the students here. I got to say, they said, karma is a bitch. Karma is a bitch. And I told you all, I'm told you all, I'm not necessarily considered as a prayerful person who goes down on my knee and pray every day and every night and so on. But I believe that there's a superior being. I believe that with all my heart, I believe that. And when they talk about karma, they're referring to the things that Brutus was alleged to have done to people, the many things. You can't be telling, I tell you all already, I said it before, if people picking up Bible and they're swearing and then they're going in the witness box and they're telling untruth. They're telling lies and they call themselves Christians, they call themselves Muslims, and they call themselves Hindus, practicing and pious and religious people. Those things are not. God don't sleep. God don't sleep. And I made the point to them before. Whenever you see they want to bring me down, they try to ruin me financially. Them same self. Try to ruin me financially. They're trumped up charges, lawsuit, all sort of thing. I got on my knees, yes. They wanted me to go on my knees. I went down on my knees, but I went on my knees to pray for them. I went on my knees and prayed. So, Father, take control. You know that your child is innocent, take control. And you see how the thing falling apart? You see, the power of prayer is not only me. I got a lot of prayer warriors who are there praying. And what we want, we're praying to see justice. We're praying to see justice. And it's going to happen. More to come. More to come. But let me analyze the statement that Nandalal made that Brutus to be relieved from one's charge. Now, there is something automatic. Once a police officer of any rank is charged and placed before the court, a criminal charge, the next thing that should follow, the officer is interdicted from duty. When I say officer, I mean policeman, I should say. Interdicted and placed on duty pending the outcome of the charge. Interdicted and placed on half pay, rather. Interdicted from duty and placed on half pay pending the outcome of the charge. Some people have questioned the constitutionality of the half pay, to deprive the person of that half. I'm not going to go into it here. But I'm saying the practice has been that once a police rank is charged, interdiction. We know it because even in the last report from the Complaints Authority, they made the point that police officers or police ranks are charged criminally and they still remain on the job. We told you about Inspector Roop on the East Coast and another man, Jack Ryan or something from Bobby, is charged criminally, both of them. And Roop was there. Then interdicting me. Well, they might have had an excuse because at the time when he was charged, I don't think there was a police service commission. And if you're an inspector and above, in Brutus's case, he has to be interdicted by the police service commission. And if there was no service commission, I can well understand they were in a little dilemma in dealing with Roop. But as soon as the commission was given life, this new commission, that was sometime in 2022, that should have been one of the first things on their agenda. You got an inspector charged with some sexual assault case, and the man walking, police inspector in uniform walking, and he facing charge before the court. And in that matter, what happened? Eventually, they interdicted him. And then in labor time, the matter done. I don't know how the matter done so quickly. In labor time, record time, and the man is back in uniform. So the comment by the Complaints Authority was in relation to that, to those people who remain on the job. In the case of the next man, there was no excuse because it's the commissioner of police had to interdict him. And let me tell you again, teaching these officers, the interdiction is done. It takes effect from the date the person appears in court. Let me teach them. Let me teach them. Mr. Carter can come in here too. What happens is that all these files work. The file would normally, I don't know in the Brutus case whether it's some special circumstances, but normally crime files and all files going to the DPP are routed through the Assistant Commissioner of Law Enforcement, what we call the crime chief. So if a policeman is charged, it goes to him wherever, and he then reviews, sends it to the DPP. It reverses the process. So from the DPP, it goes back to the crime chief. If a policeman is recommended to be charged, what happens then? The file is sent to the commissioner to advise him that this rank is to be charged. The people at the registry there, the admin, what we call the staff officer people, will usually make a copy of that file and place it in the rank's personal file, a copy of the criminal file, place it there, and they get all the information. Now, once the file then is sent back to the commander and the charge is instituted, the commander then has a responsibility to advise in the first place. I used to pick up the phone and call the staff officer that John Jones went to court today, charged so, because they would already had the file there. And then you're going to send a short report to say that the man appeared in court, man or woman, and what the position is. Based on that, the interdiction notice is prepared, signed by the commissioner that is interdicted from the day he appeared in court. Well, what they have been doing in recent times, the same in the extended squatter, violating people's constitutional rights, member of the force. So in the case of the Quindon Bacchus murder, the day the persons appeared in court, I think it was the 5th of July, 2022, he dismissed the Nabriga, David McLennan, and Thorsten Simon. It can dismiss them unconstitutional because, as we said, there's a presumption of innocence. It dismissed them when they should have been interdicted from that day pending the outcome of the charge. So what happens? Let's assume that the matter goes and they can't prove the charge against those persons. They are already interdicted. They are already dismissed, rather. In the case of interdiction, they are reinstated. They are reinstated because they have been proven innocent. Either the matter dismissed or discharged, whatever it is. And so this thing that Nandalal telling us, but the man can be relieved of his position, should be automatic. That should be automatic. A policeman charge, he is interdicted and placed on half pay pending the outcome of the charge. And it says pending the outcome of the charge. So therefore, it is saying that if the outcome is favorable to the person who is interdicted, he ought to be reinstated. If the outcome is unfavorable, then you go and he's dismissed. That should be the procedure. I know there were cases that went to the court, people challenged it during the around 2017 and all of this everything, where a particular officer who was there sitting in the chair at the top, people go to court, they dismiss them right away. So the kid is not a force. And the courts have ruled on it. The courts have ruled. The Attorney General has commented on this on the program. That this is wrong. People violating people's rights. You're violating the rights of the ranks. So that again, interdiction and AFP, and this is criminal charge. There's also a provision under the Police Discipline Act, Chapter 1701, for ranks who are charged with a disciplinary charge to be interdicted pending the outcome of the disciplinary charge. Two distinct things. One, interdicted pending the outcome of a criminal charge. One, interdicted pending the outcome of a disciplinary charge. And the same thing follows if it's an inspector and above, the Police Service Commission. If it's below, sergeant below, the police, the commissioner does that. I had to bring to their attention some years ago when I was at the commission, because I noted that they were interdicting ranks from the force during the course of investigation. I told them the law did not allow for that. The law said if you are charged, not being investigated, if you are charged, and then I went on to advise them that based on the ruling by Justice Corbyn in Dookie versus Ramnarayan and the Attorney General, the commissioner can place a rank on administrative leave during the course of an investigation. It's administrative leave during the course of an investigation. You can't interdict during the course of the investigation. This is what the law says. It's not Slow and Conway saying that. The law, 1701, in the case of disciplinary charges, says that you have to interdict once the person has been charged. And it's not straightforward as that, as I've seen suggested in the Police Complaints Authority. Not all charges ranks are interdicted for. A man might be charged for some minor offense, absent for a day or two. You can't interdict the person for that, because by the time you even go through the process, the man return to work. But most times what we used to do is that if the person is charged and they are deliberately trying to avoid the trial, then you invoke that section of the law and you interdict them pending the outcome of the trial. Again, I say the officers are not exposed to this type of training, and so therefore many times you can't blame them. You have to blame the system. So this thing that Nandalal talking about, Brutus will be relieved of position once shall relieve of no position. He has to be interdicted. In other words, interdicted, like how did I tell you? All your powers associated with you being a police force, being a policeman taken away. You must not go to no police station unless you want to make a report. All of those things are contained in the notice, or should be contained in the interdiction notice. All of those things should be contained in the interdiction notice. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're going to move on. CC.
Yeah, the Attorney General only playing with words, talking about relief of his position. Use the words, use the legal words. Should be interdicted. Should be it will be interdicted, not a relief of his position. What do you mean? What do you mean? It means that he'll be no longer a policeman. You get charged and you interdicted pending the outcome of the matter. And we have plenty persons now in the police force. I think Andres Jr. and some people from finance who were, since in December, they won the case and they hanging. I know one guy, over 10 years now, he won his case in a high court. Over 10 years now, and they can't reinstate him. He joined the AFP, and they can't reinstate him because here they can't find the file not available, and all kind of nonsense. So the thing is clear that you get charged, interdicted, sergeant downwards, commissioner of police, inspector upwards, the police service commission. As straightforward as that.
As straightforward as that, and you're coming with a lot of flim-flam to fool some of these gullible people with a lot of words, and something is being done and so on. Now, the next thing I noted, and you would have noted that in the past week, past 6 or 7 days, Stabrook News has had several editorials dealing with the police, several letters dealing with the police, and a lot of things. We saw recently where the Guyana Human Rights Association calling for big investigation into the force and so on. Of course, people asking them want to know where they were all this time, perhaps with some among the justification they get in that. But the point is, what is going on now is of concern. When you hear the Attorney General telling people about the old Caribbean, the most senior man, but I tell you, all the man is the man now, Mr. Brutus, is the hostess with the mostess. The hostess, the man get the most money. He got the most bank accounts. He wanted to be the most senior. And we're going to talk about the seniority thing a little while. He wants to be the most senior. And now we get the most charges, 240. The man, well, you know, they get them names. You get 50 cents a singer. They have other people with names, numerical names and so on. So, you know, now Mr. 240, we had Mr. 83. Now you get Mr. 240, right? That is what I said. I don't know that the DPP will end up giving him all the 240, either for himself or he and his wife, right? Because I suspect that based on what he said, based on what was revealed, that in the affidavit before the judge last Friday, signed by the head of SOCU, that he and his wife facing grave jeopardy. He said both of them are involved in this thing, both of them. So the man got the most tests, the hostess with the most tests. And as I've said, karma is a bitch. Karma is a bitch. When it come, it don't come blindside you. You come. What you ought to know, when you look, let me say this. And the Vice President said that the act of collecting that type of money, $8.5 million as gift, is reprehensible, and the government never sanctioned such an arrangement. And I asked the question before, I'm asking it again. Mr. Vice President, if this act is reprehensible, and I agree with you that it is reprehensible, what are you going to do about it? Just say it's reprehensible and leave it there. And let me tell you, just in case, again, students don't understand or they don't know what the Vice President is referring to, I have a statement here purported to have been written by the acting commissioner. And this thing was alluded to 2 weeks ago in Stabrook News, and he had not denied that he said so. He has not denied that he said so, because he said that, let me read a part for you. He said, first of all, he said he received an official wedding gift from Calvin Brutus, Assistant Commissioner of Police, who's performing the function of Deputy Commissioner Administration. He observed on the wedding invitation that the wedding and reception was scheduled for the 11th of November 2023 at Pegasus Hotel, Georgetown. He said, I instituted a policy of motivating my officers through supporting them for special occasions, such as weddings, birthdays, and anniversaries, by providing support from stakeholders' approach. That's what he said, from stakeholders' approach. As such, I decided to continue this policy and proceeded to inform several of my personal friends and stakeholders about scheduled wedding of Calvin Brutus, Assistant Commissioner of Police. I recall that in the weeks leading up to the wedding of Assistant Commissioner Brutus, he informed me that several friends and family gave him cash and jewelry towards the wedding. I was also informed by Assistant Commissioner Brutus that several other of his relatives and friends expressed their willingness to support him financially. I was asked by Assistant Commissioner Brutus whether he is required to write officially for permission to retain such cash, or retain the cash already collected and expected. I recognize that based on his utterances that the persons giving him the cash and jewelry were his relatives, family members and personal friends. As such, I provided verbal no objection to the process. In addition to the fact that it is a culture in Guyana and these gifts were not connected to his official capacity. I contacted the management of Pegasus and reserved the venue, Atlantic Conference Center, for Assistant Commissioner Brutus' wedding reception. I was also provided with a quotation of $8,474,977 for the wedding package by the management of Pegasus Hotel. I informed several of my stakeholders that offered to assist with the wedding expenses of the quotation received from Pegasus Hotel. Between the 1st and the 10th of November 2023, I received cash from one businessman, name me, in a large envelope. I subsequently counted the cash, and it amounted to $8,500,000. I was told by the businessman, he put in name, that the extra cash must be kept for any other unseen expenses that may arise. That is, I subsequently sent Assistant Superintendent Lal, my personal assistant, to make the down payment at Pegasus Hotel. Then he said he attended the wedding and blah, 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 blah. I am saying, as the Vice President said, this is reprehensible. What are you going to do about it? This is the commissioner. I'm sitting there in the commissioner's chair, whether he's acting or substantive. And he accepts by his own admission. He called people, stakeholders and his friends. And one businessman, he 8.5. He just said how many the others gave him. Or if you get anything at all from the other. He said the one businessman gave him 8.5. And you can imagine the commissioner, according to what he is saying, the acting commissioner. He counted the money in the commissioner's office. That is what he's saying. He later counted it. Well, he did not say in the commissioner's office, but it is assumed. He counted the money, $8.5 million Guyana cash in one envelope, big me-ass envelope. And he made the arrangements. So if the matter is so reprehensible, why is he still on the seat? And why are you going at breakneck speed to promote him? Why? That is not only grounds for him to have been removed, it's grounds for him to be investigated for misconduct in public office. And I suspect, and let me tell you further, we understand that is on the basis of this statement given by the acting commissioner to whomever, because Brutus has said he had given it to Soku. Soku said he never had any such statement, right? So to whoever he gave this statement, it was intended to exonerate Brutus with the $46.4 million, because when Brutus deposited the $46.4 million at the bank, and he said it was gifts from his wedding, before, during, and after the wedding, and Christmas gift, that triggered a report to the Financial Intelligence Unit. And they asked for Soku to conduct an investigation. And it is said that it's based on that, on this statement, that decide that there's no evidence against Brutus. Rubbish. This, as I said before, this statement so full of holes. How can you discontinue based on that? And I'm saying again, that based on all the developments, this investigation too to be reopened, because it's not only misconduct in public office you're talking about now, you're talking about perverting the course of justice. Not only misconduct, which is one criminal charge, but you're talking here now, if it can be proven, that the acting commissioner, Clifton Ikin, can be investigated for perverting the course of justice in supplying this statement, which is clearly can be proven to be false. And I can understand what investigation is talking about. If this man is saying this statement that he got a policy, where is the policy? That's the first thing I want to see as an investigator. Where is the policy? Police force deals with standing order and force order publication. In which force order was this publicized? In which standing order is it revealed? All of these things are basically with the investigation. This man is presented with an invitation saying that this wedding is on the 11th of November, 2023. That is what he said in September. Brutus gave this invitation. And at the same time, he come down to say that he called and made reservation for this wedding package. So you're suggesting to me that Brutus would have made, would have printed invitation with Pegasus as the venue for the wedding and the reception, and Ian make reservation for the place. This thing requires further investigation, and I'm going to continue to call for the thing to be investigated. It requires proper investigation. This appears to be, and the benefit of the doubt is here, this appears to be a criminal conspiracy. Clearly, it appears to be that. And I'm saying that in fairness to Ikin and Brutus and all of the people, it requires a credible investigation so that they can be cleared. Similarly, not similar to the, but similarly, the Sugate matter, it requires a proper credible investigation, because if that is not done, that stench is going to be there with the vice president, he's going to be there with Ikin, going to be there with all of them to the end of time. I had a long piece of batting. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. A lot longer than the West Indies there. A lot longer than the 240. I made more than 240 there and then. CC, what are your views on what I've just said, my brother?
Battle longer than the West Indies in Sri Lanka. Okay. You know, sometimes when you see a letter to the press, you might not take it seriously. But you gotta take seriously when there's an editorial. And there are 3 editorials in consecutive days about the police. 3. And then you look at it, the statement purporting to be signed by Hicken, where we're talking about a stakeholders approach. As part of a stakeholders approach, whatever they mean, is try to motivate ranks by collecting gifts for the birthdays and wedding, etc., as the case may be. And he has not debunked that statement. He hasn't debunked that statement. And the impression is that is a statement that apparently, or the suspected, to have cleared Brutus. But there is so much fresh evidence that emerged that it calls for a reopening, as you say, a reopening of the matter. You mentioned, Paul, about perverting the course, maybe perverting the course of justice also. And I said before, and I'm going to say it again, that it got to be quite a number of persons, a multiplicity of persons who are involved in this matter. The Ministry of Home Affairs, remember the PS? The PS is the officer there who's responsible for finance, accounting officer. The Ministry of Finance. What happened with the banks? What happened with those controlling authorities? Those authorities that have oversight. They weren't involved. No, nobody pick up, nobody say, hey, this thing is a suspicious thing. I totally get over $14 million in a bank account. And all these plenty bank accounts in one bank, and there were no red flags. There were no red flags. And we saying the investigation has got to be wider. The investigation, I'm going to repeat again, has got to involve gun run-ins. the 1.5 upwards. It got to be involved in that. And as I said on Monday, it has to be the new one that emerged with a special constabulary, where we had two sets of members of the special constabulary, the regular and the irregular special, where the regular special working with ministries and other places, and ministry paying for them. And since this quarter common stream, they're only regular members. So the government paid for all of the regular members and those who were supposed to be regular special. What is happening with that money? What is happening with the money? I hear they doing all sort of things with that money. So this investigation's got to be broadened, it got to be deepened, and not Suku can't really handle it. They can't give a proper report. And I always saying that that charging people is just one part of the criminal process. You have to go to trial, and I've been trying to analyze Suku's success rate, and all I getting 000. So I really can't analyze anything because Suku does not have a successful rate in terms of going to trial and winning any matter. So let's reopen the first case and let's broaden and deepen the investigation, and let's take it away from Suku.
Well, it should have never been there in the first place. Let me understand. It should have never been there because, as we have said repeatedly, this is not only about this $16.5 million, the police credit union. Now they talk about all these accounts at the banks. Let me examine this thing as reasonable people, because I know all of us here are reasonable people. We are not intellectually lazy. When you look at the allegations, there must be people who have been facilitating this, either unwittingly or otherwise. The people at the police finance office, including the police finance officer. The people at the Ministry of Home Affairs, including the account officer who is the PS. The people at the bank. Well, you can't necessarily, again, I said before, we don't know that the bank did not immediately report this thing to the Financial Intelligence Unit. We don't know. Sometimes they did, and the Financial Intelligence Unit might have fallen asleep. We do not know. But we're saying the investigation ought to reveal all of these things. Because from the time the deposit is made, red flag should be up. You got a man who is a police senior officer, and over the past 3 years, let me give 3 years, he gets a salary of, let's say, $2,500 US a month. That's his salary. Given what he says, that because of all the perks and so on, he ain't got to spend his salary. Yet still, it can't amount to all of that. Where the man withdraws $60-something million from the same salary account to pay for property. So who said so in their affidavit? You want to tell me these things did not trigger suspicion and something? Look, and this thing got far-reaching consequences, because it's a clear case of money laundering, and the relevant agencies did not do what they are required to do. So it's not only Brutus and them in here. I believe the body who oversees this thing in the Caribbean and perhaps farther afield have to be looking at it and have to be concerned that an assistant commissioner of police whose salary is $2,500 US a month can have all of these assets, $800 million in assets, $400 million and more in cash in the banks with EE family and the businesses. Look at the businesses. The businesses established in 2023. And that'll be one of the most profitable businesses in the whole world, because in this short space of time, in just over a year, over 300 and something million dollars. I have businessmen friends, I got to tell them that they're not doing well. They are not doing well. So this thing requires a bigger investigation. And this morning, I don't give much credence to what Leroy Smith writes, but and I ain't giving no credence to this, but just to make the point that he's writing to say that the head of Soku contributed some business deal with and Baka and Brutus, where they buy some property over the river for $20 million, and Karimbash paid 25. That's what he's alleging. I don't believe him, because he is coming out, or he's coming out, according to a certain executive. He's coming out, and he is now every day he writes to tarnish the image of Karimbash and Budram. And not that some of them get any real image to damage, but he's doing that. And I just noted somebody sent to me to say that Karimbash has debunked this report from Big Smith, which says that he invested 25% in some venture they have across the river, some 20 million venture, and therefore he is alleging that he might put 5 million into this thing. I'm saying these things require investigation. Don't just brush it aside. This thing is a big stinking story there now. And more every day the wind blow and the thing skinning up more. A big, nasty, stinking story. That is what is going on. And you know, with all the lies they're telling, and I continue to encourage them to keep writing and keep talking, because it's quicksand. The more they write and the more they talk, is more they're sinking. The more they write and the more they talk, people who can analyze, as we have been doing, see the loopholes in the thing. And I say lies have consequences. So you can't sit in the commissioner's office or anywhere else and write a lying statement and not suffer the consequences. Only yesterday, I was reading the news, Rudy Giuliani, the big-time mayor from New York, he going to tell a lot of lies on those two election workers in Georgia about the election, right? Yes, they took him to court. They want judgment against him. He dancing. Yesterday, a New York federal judge gave him 7 days to hand over some luxury apartment and all the jewelry and memorabilia and all them things. You got to hand over to these people. Lies must have consequences, and if the commissioner acting sits there or sat there and wrote a thing that is demonstrably lies, false, then it should have consequences. That is what I want to say. It should have consequences. And you know, it brings people talking about the image of the force and all of that. And what image are you talking about? Let me remind you all that on I get my records on the 2nd of October 2024, the minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance, Gail Teixeira, MP, she wrote to Mr. Aubrey Compton Norton, leader of the opposition, trying to justify the government's intention to appoint Ikin as a substantive commissioner. And I'll read the last paragraph to remind you what she said. She said, I am to inform you that in the circumstances, having considered your contentions and upon weighing same against the accomplishments of the Guyana Police Force under the superintendence of Mr. Ikin, including the significant decrease in serious crimes, improved public confidence in the force, the overall enhanced performance of the force, and in particular, the performance of Mr. Ikin, His Excellency has concluded that it is in the public interest and in the interest of national security that Mr. Ikin be appointed as Commissioner of Police. That's what Gail Teixeira wrote. And I said that the U.S. Surgeon General warns about the use of tobacco, and he pointed out some of the adverse consequences of tobacco use. What he did not say is that the continued use of tobacco can also make you delusional, right? Because I believe there's got to be somebody who is delusional writing this thing. We live in Guyana. People know to tell us that let me read the back, boy. Let me read the back to tell us Guyanese and anybody who associates with Guyana. I am to inform you that in the circumstances, having considered your contentions and upon weighing same against the accomplishments of the Guyana Police Force under the superintendence of Mr. Ikin, including the significant decrease in serious crimes, improved public confidence in the force, the overall enhanced performance of the force, and in particular, the performance of Mr. Ikin, His Excellency has concluded that it is in the public interest and the interest of national security that Ikin be appointed Commissioner of Police. Which rock she come from under? You know, those of you know Jarshang, there was a national, what we call something on Princess Street, a landmark on Princess Street. They used to call it Old Smoky. That was the incinerator. It would appear that Old Smoky has moved from, well, we know that they broke it down, but even before then, to Rob Street or wherever else this thing is written from. got to be somebody who is delusional to write something like that. Put it in writing. This is a man who sit there and he talk about the superintendents. Yeah? On the superintendents. On the superintendents, you got the man who is the de facto deputy involved in massive fraud. According to what their police unit said, $800 million in fraud under him there. Properties all over the place. And the question is, because I hear, they're saying, Brutus say he ain't going on alone. And the question is, asked with justification, that if he gets so much, wonder what the others get. Because you recall not so long ago, Brutus and Ikin had applied for sand mining permission or something like that. And the vice president itself said that, hey, this ain't flying, we're not giving permission. And we understand that people get not only Brutus and Ikin, but other senior officers. They get all sort of contract with government. We hear that so-called journalists get contract with government, never not with police, contract, things that have not been officially approved. And that is why some of them are hustling for butt. This thing requires an investigation. And that's Soku. Soku can investigate this. Because if allegations are made against the person in charge of Soku, I saw, let me tell you all for now, we got time to go into it this morning, but we're going to come back again. Let me tell you, the lawyer representing Brutus, Mr. Daniels, right? The lawyer representing Mr. Brutus has written to the Director of Public Prosecutions. That is recently, either today or yesterday. Has written. And here what it says, this is something dated, he undated. I don't know why, but he undated. But I'm going to just give you the headline and we're going to come into it. When I get a chance to study it properly, we're going to come back. He writes to Shalimar Aliak SC, Director of Public Prosecutions, Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Lot 1, Rabbit Walk, Eve Leary, Georgetown. Dear Mrs. Aliak SC, and I'll just tell you what the heading says. Reformal complaint regarding unlawful and unethical conduct by the Special Organized Crime Unit, SOCU, in the investigation of Mr. Calvin Brutus, Assistant Commissioner of Police. So the lawyer is writing to the DPP complaining about an unlawful and unethical conduct by the Special Organized Crime Unit in the investigation into Brutus. And he started by saying, I write to formally lodge a complaint concerning the unlawful and unethical actions of the Special Organized Crime Unit during the investigations of my client, Mr. Calvin Brutus, Assistant Commissioner of Police, for alleged financial crimes, including money laundering. The conduct of SOCU, as well as senior officers within the Guyana Police Force, represents serious violations of the law and ethical standards, and most disturbingly, infringes on my client's constitutional rights under Article 144 of the Constitution of Guyana, Chapter 101. There's something more we can go into a little later. But the lawyer complaining about SOCU conduct in this investigation. And I complain about it too, because I made the point, from the time this allegation was made, somebody should have put the allegation to Brutus, arrest him, and take it from there. From the time this thing surfaced about the commissioner, a proper investigation would have questioned him. I don't know, apart from this statement that we just read, if the commissioner has given any other statement, if he was asked to give any other statement. Folks, this thing is very, very serious. It's a very serious allegation. It strikes at the base, at the root of the Guyana Police Force and Guyana. And let me say this before bringing Mr. Conway. This thing got to be very, very demoralizing on all of those hard-working, honest, dedicated police officers, of which there are many. There are many hard-working, dedicated police officers. And when something like this taking place, you got to be demoralized. People don't even want to go to work. It's shame and scandal and disgrace for the people in charge of you. And you know what people have been saying? People have been saying, a constable look up on the road, and we're not condoning it, but I'm just telling you, to put some context into it. People say a constable go up on the road, and he take a towel, or he take a Granger, and they want to kill you. And everyone we're saying, when you talk about towel, the towel is $1,000. When you talk about a Granger is a 5,000 guy in the largest denomination. So they are saying that some of these dishonest and corrupt constables, they go on the road, they collect $1,000 to forego some charge, or $5,000. when the complaint is made, they want to kill the junior rank. They want to kill the junior rank. And here we have a situation where senior officers, not only Brutus, Brutus is the one who they hold upon. Like he make the fatal mistake of deciding to go after the cabinet and all of them. So they're gonna show it to the wolves. They're gonna show, but you have other people with property, enough property, and if you add up all the salary and so on, if they were like Brutus and never spend the salary, that still can't explain or justify the accumulation of wealth that they have. It's corruption stinks. And before I bring in Cardi again, let me say this. I did courses on anti-money laundering. And one of the most, they tell you, this is where the problem is. You get the illegal money, and it's to try to clean it up. That's how the laundering part comes in. You get the money illegal, whether you're collecting money for gun, whether you're collecting bribe for anything else, all right, good, you collect it. But how do you, what process do you put it through for it to appear as legal? You can't put them through your salary because you get it $2,500 a month, which amounts to $6 million a year, and you deposit in 15, 20 million. How do you justify that? How do you justify that? And that is where the problem lies. Let me bring Mr. Conway. CC, I take a long battle again. So over to you, my brother.
All right, you'll have back a piece of me from, let me go back to Gail to Sherry, and she's talking about achievements under Aiken. And let me tell you some of the achievements and also the legacy that he gonna left. And I think he gonna go before long too, the extended squad, providing that he produce another board certificate. I know you get a board certificate and you get a police board certificate too, Now, here are some legacy getting left. Duck curry competition, flavor the dance, cook-up competition, steaming fried rice, steaming fried fish, storing pot for the president, bowling ball for the president's school runs, poor training. And let me talk about training. I want to bring this to the attention of listeners. The commandant for the Georgetown, for the training department in Georgetown, the commandant, who is the commandant? The rank commandant is a cadet officer. The commandant is a cadet officer. And who's a cadet officer? A cadet officer is somebody who's training to become an officer. A cadet officer is not an officer, somebody who's training to become and the person in charge of the college of the the commandant for Georgetown is a cadet officer. Just like how they get a cadet officer in charge of the mountain branch, and they had one in charge of the police workshop before they bring the senior superintendent there who they said was fingered in the Matthews Ridge thing. And go back to some of the things that is going to left. Poor training, a so-called strategic plan that isn't smart, isn't specific, isn't measurable, isn't achievable, even realistic, isn't timing. No succession plan, no career development, corruption at all levels, where the number two man is alleged to have been involved in hundreds of millions of dollars of corruption, talking about allegation. Corruption at the quartermaster store, gun runnings, 1.5 to start from it, where they wrecked the welfare fund, the credit union, poor recruitment, where even the squatter said that he getting problem recruiting people and problem retaining them. Yeah? Where stolen firearms, low morale, no morale, little public confidence in the police, no synergy among the senior officers, and the list could go on and go on. And that those are the qualifications that Gail Tishero putting forward for this quarter to be conformed and to be further extended. There's a legacy that the extended quarter is going to leave. And I want to believe he can go very, very shortly. Because if the attorney general is saying that legally there's nothing constitutional stop him from being conformed, why don't they conform him? What are they waiting for? Nothing to stop him constitutionally or legally. And he's still not conformed. Conform me and done the story and let the legal battles begin, you know. So that is what I want to say about Gail Teixeira's letter to Aubrey Norton.
Well, yeah, conforming. But remember, we read an article last week, Friday, I think it was. The U.S. ambassador said the U.S. is watching about all these allegations of corruption. They are watching. So maybe because they're watching, they are hesitant to make this appointment. But let me say this before I go on. Come on, we are going to share some more. We got 2,000 plus on the thingy and only 100 and something thumbs up. No. This is unacceptable, man. You all got to do better than that. Share the live. I love you winding down, but you got to share the live. And you got to give me some thumbs up, man. Give me some more thumbs up. We should have got at least 500 to 600 thumbs up on this thing. We got what, 148 thumbs up now with over 2,000 people on the live. That is unacceptable. That is reprehensible. Unacceptable. You got to share some more, man. Share some more. Share. You know, and them will try to big up. It can. I remember on the 9th of October, a letter was published in one of the dailies by one who is set the name Sherwin Crandon. Sherwin Crandon published a letter which was carried in the newspaper. Like I read a part. He said he was attacking GHK Lal for pointing out some of the shortcomings. When GHK Lal said the kid could go down in the history of the Ghana police force as lesser than the most disappointing top cop that the country has ever had. That is what GSK Lal said. And then this, whoever is Sherwin Crandon, among the things he said, objectivity allows for clear thought in writing. Mr. Lal and others are reminded that the message Mr. Ikin has been conveying to his officers and other subordinates have never been unorthodox. He has, to the best of my knowledge, promoted the path of best practices for the organization. He has repeatedly pledged to make Guyana Police Force the best in the Caribbean and has demonstrated his ambitious desire in his presentations when representing the force at engagements overseas. But here is the kicker. Here is the kicker. In my humble opinion, he sells Guyana in the way it ought to be sold. In fact, we have read that most of the Caribbean is trying to adopt the principles, policies, and methodologies used in the Guyana Police Force in an effort to reduce their crime rate. Yeah, forgive me, students, forgive me. This thing, when you see them BS this right, you just got to laugh. This man, Sherwin Crandon, whoever he said that the kid is doing such a good job that other countries, he said Caribbean, what? You have to read it back in my humble opinion. He sells Guyana in the way it ought to be sold. In fact, we have read that most of the Caribbean is trying to adopt the principles, policies, and methodologies used in the Guyana Police Force in an effort to reduce their crime rate. What principles and methodologies? Big scandal, corruption at the most senior levels. And this one, he said, Sherwin Crandon writing this thing. But you know, they said Brutus said that he ain't going on alone. And I remember back in the day in the 70s, you see, I joined the force in 1974. In them days, you had some very popular record labels. You could get contract with one of them in the 70s. Labels such as Motown. You remember Motown? Michael Jackson and all of these famous singers, Smokey Robinson, and all of these people signed up with Motown. Then they had some like ABC, some like you had CBS, EMI, Polygram. All of those were popular record labels, right? Popular, the most popular record labels. Tough Gong, I think, came out of Jamaica, and they had enough of them. Vivian Lee from Guyana had a label too as well. Brutus signed up with one of these popular record companies, man. Sign up and let me get some top 20, the top chart and so on. Sign up, man. Sign up soon with one of these record labels. Some of them are now defunct, but they have other record labels around. Sign up. You had ABC, and this ABC is not the one, not the political ABC. When we talk about American, the British and Canadian, no. That's the one. They had one named CBS. They had one named EMI. polygram. Those things used to be in the center, the recorder. You see the label, they're around there. And who can forget perhaps the most popular one that I call now Motong. Motong, Michael Jackson, Smokey Robinson, and others were on that label. Sign up with one of the labels, whether it's Tough Gong or any label you get now, sign up. Sign up and sing, Brutus, sing. Sing, Brutus, sing. Sing, man, sing. Sing. Don't sing like slow with a croaky voice. Sing. Let the people know what you know. I said that how people trying to emulate what going on in Guyana, crime fighting and all that. That's what this people, some sycophants come for tell us this nonsense. Or according to Nyla Wells, come to tell us this nonsenseness. What really is going on? See, let me ask you, what really is going on, man? What really going on, man? Say all this glorious thing about Ikin and the Caribbean trying to emulate what is going on in Guyana. Talk to me, man. Talk to me.
I wonder how much he was paid, you know. I wonder if the extended squad had collected some gifts for him, you know, so he was paid. Or I wonder if he intend to get married, you know, so that the wedding planner could organize a wedding for him and somewhere at the Pegasus or the Marriott or something. Something. I think he has been programmed or he wishing that certain things could happen. So let Brutus sing. But then I remember one Beijing used to sing Dalfo sing. I remember the calypso. Sing Dalfo sing Beijing calypso.
That's Sparrow, man. Mighty Sparrow. Big Belly Bajan, man. Come Trinidad and singing calypso, man. Sparrow, that's Sparrow, Mighty Sparrow.
Okay,
Sing
okay.
Dalfos, the song named Dalfos. So that these young people got to tell them, go check out Dalfos, man. Right? He's singing, Georgie, Porgy, pulling on pie, kiss the girl and make them cry. When the girls come out to play, when the girls come out to play, you run away. Yeah, you got something there. But let me say this as we close off, CC. I saw it was yesterday. The Ministry of Home Affairs, Mr. Robeson Ben, come out with a statement. They got another traffic campaign. Oh, Lord, these people are unbelievable. Yes, they have another traffic campaign. So I have to ask, what happened to the one where they had what they call the one they call what they call it? Respect the road. This one, what happened to this one? Respect the road. They had this campaign launched sometime last year or whatever, Respect the Road, and they get billboards. We'll show you one here with the extended squatter. Slow down, drive carefully. Picture of the acting commissioner. And we asked the question several times. What impact could this have in reducing traffic accidents? What? Tell us. None. What is the big ego thing? Big ego thing. So you get a billboard, respect the road. Now we understand they get one name. What name? Let me tell you. Do the right thing. They get one name coming up. They started recently named Do the Right Thing. I ain't got time to go into it in any detail today, but surely the next program, we can't promise because things are so fluid. All sort of things can happen. We can hear about 240, we can hear about 340, and all kind of things. So on a subsequent program, we're going to go into it. But the headline caught me, or the caption, the slogan caught me, do the right thing. And I say, yes, they should do the right thing. And since it is coming from the Ministry of Home Affairs, the ministers should start to do the right thing. I resign. The first right thing that the ministers should do is resign because the ministry under him, police, fire, prison, he has been a failure. He should do the right thing and resign. Let me tell him more, do the right thing. Ikin should do the right thing and go up on the proceed on the retirement leave. You can't get pre-retirement because he squatting. Do the right thing and go home. Then who else should do? Brutus should do the right thing and sing. Sing, Mr. Brutus, sing. The government should do the right thing and get a proper investigation into all that is going on. And since we're going to talk about the investigation, not only into the police force, we talk about corruption in the ministries where vehicles are detailed for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. All the ministries are involved. Investigate, do the right thing. Do the right thing, get independent investigators to investigate the Sugate. Y'all forget that? Don't ever forget. Don't take your eye off the ball. Don't take your eye off the ball. Let me tell you what I mean. Tell you look, remember
Sit there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
So my relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, he is a friend of ours.
He claims.
Yeah, so do the right thing. Investigate that too. So this is an up slogan that the Ministry of Home Affairs, in conjunction with the National Road Safety Council, has in the effort to deal with the traffic. We're going to deal with that in some subsequent program. Do the right thing. Ben, go home. Ikin, go your way. Brutus, sing. Government, investigate proper. Now this is what's going on, you know. Because if allegations are being made that the head of the investigating unit or the unit that is investigating this is compromised, that is the allegation. It's an allegation. It's an allegation. But to clear the people's name, you need a credible investigation and not one that is done by RAS. RAS is capable of doing no proper investigation. So let me understand this. Let me bring in Mr. Conway to close, and then we can give a look forward. CC, we had a long morning. Let me hear your closing remarks, my brother.
Yeah, do the right thing. More slogans, more slogans. You know, as you rightly say, hey, let Ben do the right thing and let go along way. You know, let he can go along his way. Let Brutus sing and all those things that you mentioned there. You know, and we need to, you know, we get time to really look at the traffic situation, you know, because it's real total chaos on the road. Lives and limbs are in constant peril on our roads, and slogans can assist. Slogans are not the right thing, and it calls for a comprehensive report. It's a multiplicity of actions that we got to take if we want to bring back sanity to our roads. There's not no silver bullet as they want to project, and it's not no one-shot solution. There are many things, and the top of it is, maybe we're going to discuss in further, is the big C, the capital C, corruption, and especially corruption with the driver's license. We'll talk more about that.
We're going to talk more, but you know, again, with this investigation to Brutus, don't forget, it was reported that, you remember a report that was captioned or titled Just in Time, where it was reported that Soku moved to the bank to get order to, on the bank account of the driver of Brutus, Sergeant George. And by the time they get to the bank, the article alleged that $50 million gone. Is that part of the investigation? You see, the thing is that we don't know this 240 that they're talking about, if it includes all of that. We talk about what transpired at the police finance office, where Brutus used to approve large cash advances to his secretary and his driver, large, $200,000. Christmas Eve Day 2020, the driver going to Port Kaituma to conduct investigation. The secretary of email going to Orient Duke or somewhere like there to conduct investigation. They're not investigators. And all of that should be investigated. The Auditor General too is sleeping at the wheels. Because we made the point some time ago, right on this program, that they are promoting people in disregard to the establishment of the force. We talked about it long ago. You do that, the Auditor General coming at you. And to explain to some of you who might not know, the police force has a fixed establishment. How many people must be a different rank? One commissioner, now they get it, I think 5, deputy now was 4, the thing they moved to 6, assistant commissioner, all of that. So when promotions are made, you have to make sure you're filling vacancies. Over the years, they have been promoting, especially when it comes to sergeant and those ranks, willy-nilly, without regard to the establishment. So when I checked some time ago, they had almost 100 sergeants over what the establishment requires. I know that those things ought to trigger the involvement of the Auditor General's office, but it appears that they are doing nothing. They're not doing anything. They are not doing anything. So this thing requires a big investigation. This thing about gift, what they're talking about, you know, the $8.5 million, and the vice president said that they never sanctioned such an arrangement. I recall, and I'm giving you this as homework because when we come next, we're going to deal with that. I recall not so long ago, 2021, government came into office in 2020. President was sworn in on the 2nd of August, 2020. They nearly killed the minister there, David Patterson. They nearly killed David Patterson, and why? Because David Patterson, as the Minister of Public Works, or whatever it was, Public Infrastructure, Minister of Public Infrastructure, board there or something like that, the departments under him presented him with gifts. Presented him with gifts, him and the junior minister. Gifts, the account to what I've researched, the most expensive of the gift was $700,000, 700,000 Ghana dollars. And Ejil became so agitated that he called on the minister, he wasn't minister then, he called on Patterson to resign as chairman of the Public Accounts Commission because that act of accepting gifts from the departments under his ministry was said to be so egregious that the man should resign. $700,000, that is the biggest gift. You have some gift, $33,500. Somebody, they say that they purchased some piece of jewelry for $33,500 and a bottle of perfume for $14,000, VAT included. And then somebody Marad bought some gift for $387,000. They want to kill him. They want to kill David Patterson and Annette Ferguson for gifts that were presented to them during Christmas and birthday or whatever. And you get a man admitting in a statement that he took $8,500,000 from a businessman for wedding. And they're talking about gifts and gifts. He said the culture of gifts at wedding. And the Integrity Commission Act speaks about that. Speaks as to how those things should be dealt with. The previous administration had a code to deal with that. So all of these things throughout. We're going to analyze it more. We are going to analyze it more, folks, more. And let me tell you this before I leave. I understand last week Friday, during the appearance in court, the question came up when they talk about bail. That attacking because they had to call me name. That the judge wanted to know if there was any precedent where a senior officer is requesting permission to go and leave under investigation. And they called me name. They called my name. And I understand that the people from the Attorney General's chamber had to tell them that Slow is a different case. Because when Slow was charged, he was abroad, he was overseas, which is true. And Slow traveled into Guyana to answer the charge. So Slow was never a flight risk. He traveled in to answer the charge. And they also reminded them that at the time when Slow was charged, he was not a serving police officer as in the case of Brutus. So the flailing, the coming, and they call me name. So I will explain the part. And then I understand too that the judge wanted to know why he wasn't arrested. Because they're saying that he lived next to Karimba, why they weren't arrested. And I hope it was a rhetorical question. Because he wasn't arrested because we live in an animal farm where all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. So on the 19th of May, 2021, 19th of May, Soku could have sent a team of officers to Timeri Airport to arrest me on arrival. They saw that I should have arrived then, and they sent people at the airport to arrest me on arrival. But I give them the, I didn't come then. I give them the, I ain't come then. And then they put out somebody to call me the night to find out when I come in, and I give them the next to tell them I'm coming in the next day. They go back again, 2 days. They went to the airport with instructions to arrest me and handcuff me and all of these type of things. When I arrived, I'm traveling from overseas to answer charge, and they were at the airport. This is not hearsay. This is what evidence. They were at the airport waiting to arrest me. And the man will live right next door to the man in charge. They never arrested him. Animal farm. And we know the story. On the 15th of October, they turned up at the Georgetown Magistrate Court. When I walk in to the compound, they arrested me for the same charge that I'm going to answer. So I got to let people know what's going on. And we're not going to stop talking about it. We are not going to stop talking about it. Someone talk, all of a sudden Brutus know about unprofessionalism at SOCO and all them time we get in the liar to write. All of a sudden they know about that. You see certain of the details I can't go into because they got matter spending before the court. But the time will come. The time will come when I will let you know everything. Right? So you believe everything attacking it? No, it's not everything. This is not everything. This is just a part of it. But I will let you students know what is going on. Folks, as I've said, stay tuned. Things are very fluid. Our next program is scheduled for Monday. I have a strong suspicion that you might have to come before. All I say to you is subscribe to the channel, and once you subscribe to the channel, you are going to you're going to know when we are coming. We're gonna know. And I'm telling you again, below there, you have the Zelle number scrolling. For those persons who have made contributions to the upkeep in the past week or so, and even before that, some people used to always chip in. We extend gratitude to you, and we say to you, if you want us to do the work and to do, we are doing it all the time, but we gotta spend a little. I gotta spend a little money. We gotta spend a little money, right? And therefore, we ask those who you can chip in. The Zelle number is below there. Chip in. People have said those who don't have Zelle, they have asked how can they contribute. We'll communicate to you in due time as to how this can be done. So, folks, have a good day. Stay safe, and we are gonna come whenever we come again, and we're gonna bring you another episode of Speaking Out, exposing corruption and incompetence. Until then, stay well. Bye.